Hello everyone, Sire here. Thank you so much for joining me on an unboxing of a Love from Lizi's card kit for June 2026. This one is called Summer Splash, and you can tell by just what's through the Ziploc bag why it is called Summer Splash, and we will get right into it. Each kit does come inside a Ziploc bag to protect it just in case. If it happens to fall into some water, you don't want your card kit to get all soggy. So this will hopefully protect it. I will start with 3, 2, 1. I will start off with the cardstock. You get 5 sheets of 8.5 by 11. There is a piece of white that's alcohol marker friendly. There is a zesty green. There is a dull pink color, sunshine yellow, and a grape purple. So these are quite summery. They're very fresh and beautiful colors. There is also some Love from Lizi peel-off type stickers. There is one in every kit, and in this month we have candy pink mini circles. They come in 3 different sizes. So we have the small, medium, and large. They're just like embellishments without the height, so you can just add them to create some color texture to your cards. They're just little circles that you can just peel off and stick on. There's also a paper pad, and this one is 12 designs, single-sided. So you don't need to worry about which side to pick. So we have a background that's like a watercolor washout. We have some fruit. This is limes and oranges. There's a nice watermelon design with some circles in the background. Mangoes and bananas, and I see pineapples in the background of this one. And here's the cluster of fruits with the stripes in the background. Kiwis and pears, decorative background. Now we're back to that watercolored washed out background and some fruit on top with the cherries, pears, apples, and oranges. Silhouette fruit on the watercolor background. And then we have some polka dots, white polka dots, chevrons. So lots of rainbowish colors. We have circles and squiggly lines. And then we have the washed out background with the circles in white. So those are all the pattern papers that you'll get with this collection. And you'll see that this will match quite nicely with the ephemera, which I will show you right now. And here we go. Here is the ephemera. I should have opened it before I brought it to the camera. And the nice thing about this one is that there's a lot of different sizes of elements. So you can do some nice layering. And it's pretty much all fruit in different sizes and colors, but they have that nice watercolor style to them. So here's the orange, the cluster fruits here. Smaller strawberry and a large strawberry. There's a fruit wreath. And we have some cherries, mangoes, a cluster of berries and a watermelon, blackberries, kiwis. There's another watermelon, smaller one. Nice little cluster of fruit there. Here's a big tangerine. That's the bigger size of earlier. More fruit. Here's a pear, raspberries, kiwi, apple, lime, pineapple, watermelon. We got some cherries and a zesty lime. More clusters of fruit. We're getting bigger. Bananas, pear, and now even more fruit. And then you get these 2 backgrounds. They're quite nice in size, so they're really good for creating a focal point. So that is about 4.25 by about 2 3/4. Yeah. So it's a nice size. So that is all the ephemera that you get in this collection. So lots to choose from, lots of zesty fruit and refreshing fruit. And you can make some nice collages and cards with that. There is a stamp set. And we have some nice elements here. So there's the martini glass with an orange slice, some leaves, a little splash. That fruit could be any citrus fruit that looks like that. Kiwi, watermelon, or any melon, I guess you could say. There's a nice little sprig or vine, pear, and then a nice little frame. And potentially some of these sentiments can fit in there. Or you could just ink that and just write it yourself. That'd be kind of fun. Give it more of a handmade feel to it. You know, like when you're making jam and you're going to be writing the flavor of jam and you have that little sticker. And then there's some sentiments here. You have your simply the zest. We make a great pair. Have a perfect day. Kiwi, get together soon. That's a question. So you can see there's a lot of tie-in puns to the fruit. You're one in a melon. Have a sublime day. Squeeze the day. You're the zest. Thanks, a melon. So we have a really fun sentiment and element stamp set here. And then we have the embellishments. So the embellishments always comes in a nice little baggie like this. Well, not always. It depends on how it's packaged, but it usually is full of goodies. We'll start with the twine. There is 3 colors here. I think I only got 2. Oh, there's the third one. There we go. So we have a green and white. There is an orange and white. So almost like lime and orange. And then this one is quite fun. This one makes me think, even though it's pink and yellow, it makes me think of pink lemonade. Just that bright yellow with the pink and the white. I don't know. Makes me think of like a pink lemonade candy. Very, very pretty colors. And they match nicely with the theme of this collection, this kit. There are some sequins. Let me just kind of pour these out so we can take a look at one of them. I seem to have misplaced all my trays, so I'll just pour it in my hand. There we go. So these are little pineapples. They got embossing on them, and they have this really pretty iridescent color to them. So when you hit the light, really, really pretty. So these could be used for shakers. You can just glue these directly on the card. And they're just nice little sequins. You get a few of them. You also get some clay polymer fruit slices. And I'm not going to pour these ones out because these ones are a little bit tinier. But you can see through the bag here, we have some different slices of fruit. And you got the kiwis, the berries, lemons. That looks like a mangosteen, apples. So lots of little things. So you make a nice little shaker card with these. And once again, ties really nicely with the elements here. And actually, some of these bright colors, especially this one, that is exactly the colors of this twine here. And that, to me, looks like pink lemonade. So maybe there's something there. So now you have a little bag of embellishments to play with. There is also a bag of beads, heart-shaped beads, and flat backs. I'm going to pour these all out and show them to you. So the hearts are all fruit. They're 3D, and they include the little hole in the center. And there's a strawberry. There's a watermelon. There is a lime. There's the pineapple, so it kind of matches the sequence. And an orange. Grapes, and I think there's one more here. What's this? This is a peach. I think that's a peach. I think that's the line of a peach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I got 7 of these little guys. And then for the flat backs, they're a little different. compared to the beads here. They are a little bit sparkly. You can kind of see it, even though it's blurry. I'm trying to make it a little brighter, clearer. But there's just a subtle sparkle inside of these fruit. And so there's the cherry, the pineapple. We have some grapes. And this one looks like a lemon. It looks like a lemon. Watermelon, and then a green apple. Maybe the green apple will show a little bit more. Get that little sparkle in there. Fortunately, I'm using my iPhone for recording, and it just doesn't want to cooperate. It wants to focus on the wrong things. There we go. See the sparkle? It's really nice. It's very subtle, but in person you really see it, and it's just inside. So there you go. So you get all of these. So these ones will lay flat on your card. These ones you can create a nice little element. So you could add some twine and have it swing, or maybe slide up and down. Make it a little bit more interactive. Then you get another little bag, and these ones have charms and some flat back items. So I'll dump these out. So we'll start off with these colored charms. They do have a little ring on them, and then I believe that because of that, when you tie it on, it will make it so that this will lay flat on the card if you tie it to the little hoop there. And we have a strawberry. There's a cherry. These are like really cute. Nice little designs to them. Details, I should say. The bananas, the grapes, and there's an apple. So you get 5 of those. Then there are 5 silver apple charms, and they're hollow in the center. There we go. There's 5 of those. And then there's 5 little acrylic candy wrappers with little fruit symbols on them. And well, I guess avocado is a fruit, but that's a very interesting flavor. But we have pineapple, strawberry, watermelon, grape, and avocado. I don't know if you'll get the exact same ones that I received, but these are the ones that I got. So you get 5 of each one. I tried to put that one nicely, but it just kind of all fell. And then the last, you get the die set. Now the die set's always a fun thing to have. I love the fact that you get this. The one thing I love about Love from Lizi card kits is that there's a little bit of everything for everybody. And so what I mean by that is that it doesn't matter if you like to make simple cards, interactive cards, layered cards, follow card sketches, whatever it is, there's something for everybody. So you're not limited to just stamping and coloring or die cutting and gluing. You know, there's so much. There's strings, there's beads, there's flatbacks, sequins, ephemera, paper, and then dies. Lots and lots to choose from. So it's one of my favorite things about this kit, or these kits. So we have some leaves, and then there's some greenery. These greeneries do have embossing on them, if you take a look. So those lines inside the leaves will not cut out. They will just emboss it. So you'll get the shape of this with the embossing, which is nice. And I believe there's another one in here. There we go. So there's 3 of those, 2 leaves. Is there a third leaf? There is a third leaf. So we have some nice little sizes to those, and they're all embossed as well. There is a flower. And then there's a layered citrus fruit. You have a plain circle. And this circle measures, it looks like, just over 3/4 of an inch. And then you have the pith of the fruit. And then this is the fruit itself, and it has a little dotted outline that's embossed. And then the fruit, this is all embossed on the inside, so you won't see that cut out. It's all embossed. And then you can create a layered fruit. There are some border dies. This one is like a panel. This is a wood grain bar. And then there's a tiny little bar as well. So if you watch the unboxing from Love from Lizi's, she actually made a little crate, or you can make a fence. So that's kind of fun. There are 2 circles sizes. There is the medium or the large, that's how you look at it, and then the small one. These are actually all connected. When you buy it, they're all connected with the little tabs. I didn't separate it from this one because I didn't want to lose the little one yet. And I say yet because it's almost guaranteed that I lose the smallest pieces. So I figured that I would keep it attached, and if I needed to die cut anything, I could just do it twice. That's okay. And then here's a half circle. This actually fits nicely with this fruit, I believe, if you were to line it up. So then potentially what you could do is cut this in half, and then you now have half a slice of fruit. So there's the other circle. And then you have a fun little balloon. So you can just tie that to, you can make your own design with only balloons if you wanted to. Nothing wrong with that. But you just get a nice little balloon shape. And I've gone ahead and die cut all of these in different colors just to show you what we have, just so you have a better idea. So there's the 3 twigs or sprigs. And if we get a closer look, hopefully you can see that. You can see the embossing on that. So there's the circle. And then you could take the fruit. You can see the embossing on the fruit. And then if you want to make a lime, for example, you can layer these 3 together. And then you would create a whole lime shape. You don't have to have the background. You could have just the 2 layers here if you wanted to. There are the leaves, and they're also embossed. There's your half slice. Here is the panel border, the wood grain border, and then just the simple strip. Here is the flower and 2 size dots. I think the smallest dot fits better in the center, but you could put the bigger one if you want to. And then there is the balloon. So those are all the shapes that come in this collection. So there's a lot of fun things you can do with this. So this is everything that you get in the Summer Splash June 2026 card kit. Well, I'm excited. I can't wait to start playing with all these wonderful products. I don't know what I'm going to be creating, and that's one thing that always excites me, is just setting things out and just playing and seeing what you create. I will be creating some inspiration later. I will be on the Love from Lizi's channel with a video, I believe, on the 12th of June. So check that out. And let me know what you think of this kit. I'd love to hear if you've played with Love from Lizi's, or maybe you haven't and you'd love to check it out. So until the next time, have a fantastic day. And I'll talk to you all later. Take care. Bye.